Hey everybody, welcome to Friday Evening Yin Flo. We will get started today on our backs, so can move right into any position, lying down that is comfortable for you. You can spread arms and legs out wide on your mat, like a shavasana, or perhaps keeping knees bent, soles of the feet planted on the floor, and letting the knees fall in towards one another or any other shape that is comfortable for you. For the next few minutes, we start to settle in and prepare for our practice tonight. Gently closing the eyes or taking a soft gaze towards the ceiling, and just breathing. Take a deep inhale through the nose, drawing breath into the base of the belly, filling the rib cage and the chest, and then exhaling audibly out the mouth. Inhaling through the nose to fill belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale out the mouth. One more. Inhale through the nose, belly, ribs, chest, lift. You draw breath in. Full exhale out the mouth. Letting that go. We'll seal the lips and begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, bringing a slight constriction into the back of the throat, so that on your exhales, you could imagine fogging up a mirror in front of you. Beginning to notice physical sensations in the body, internal sensations such as tightness or discomfort, sending the breath into those spaces, and external sensations, the feeling of your clothes against your skin, the feeling of your body meeting the floor underneath you. As we continue to breathe with this ujjayi breath, that gentle constriction in the throat, we'll again inhale to fill belly, ribs, and chest, and exhale chest, ribs, belly, continuing with this exhales, imagining you are turning down a dial on a radio so that the volume of the mind, whatever might be in it today, gets quieter and quieter with each exhale. Perhaps now you start to notice the sounds that you can hear, whether they're in the room you're in or coming in from outside. What do you hear? What can you smell? What can you taste? And letting go of all that and just allowing it to be here with us as we practice tonight. On our next inhale, we'll reach arms up overhead and send legs out long. Making a long body stretch. And then exhale to plant soles of the feet back onto the ground, knees facing up towards the ceiling. Arms will come out wide to a T. And then we'll begin to take some windshield wipers with the legs. So inhaling to drop the knees over to one side. Inhaling to bring them back to center. And exhaling over to the other side. And just taking this slow windshield wiping movement on your own breath. Inhaling to center. And exhaling to each side. Next time knees drop over to the left, let's leave them there for a few breaths, creating a gentle twist. Gaze can stay up at the ceiling or maybe move over right shoulder. Next inhale brings knees and gaze back to center. And then exhale, legs drop to the right, gaze can come to the left. Next inhale brings us back to center. Exhale, we'll draw right knee in towards the chest, releasing hands behind the shin around the back of the thigh. And then we'll begin to bend and straighten that right leg, sending the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. Taking this nice and slow. Creating some compression in that hip joint as you bend and pull the knee in towards the body. And then feeling an opening in the hamstring and the back of the leg as you straighten and send that foot up towards the ceiling. Take some circles with that right ankle in one direction and then the other. And then send that right foot back down to the floor to switch out the legs. Fingers interlace behind the left thigh, hugging that knee in towards the body. And then straightening and opening up through the back of the left hamstring, left leg. And then sending that left foot up long. We'll take some circles, left ankle, and then switch directions. And then exhale to send both feet back down to the floor. We'll roll off to one side. And then gently press ourselves up into a comfortable seat. From here, we'll interlace fingers once again and then send palms of the hands away from us, straightening at the elbows. Inhale, we'll bring arms up overhead, keeping fingers interlaced. Exhale to drop hands back to shoulder height. Inhale to lift, arms overhead. Exhale to drop, rounding the shoulder blades a little bit, opening through the back of the body. Inhale to lift. Exhale to drop. Inhale to lift. Next exhale, we'll bend over to the right, opening up the left side of the body, left shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to drop to the right. Inhale to center. And exhale to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale to circle arms down to the ground, letting hands land alongside the body. Next, inhale, we'll circle right arm up overhead, dropping the right palm to the left side of the head. And then we'll exhale to gently kind of pull and drop right ear to right shoulder, just using the weight of the hand and arm to just barely deepen the stretch through that side of the neck. Breathing here. Starting to slowly shift gaze down towards the floor. Keeping that light weight on the skull. And then shift gaze up towards the ceiling. Noticing the change in sensation, opening the muscles of the neck as you move, coming back to center, gaze out in front of us. We'll inhale to release that, coming back to center. Exhale. We'll inhale to circle left, arm up overhead, coming over to the right side of the head. And then exhale to drop left ear to left shoulder, taking that neck stretch again on the other side. Slowly shifting gaze down towards the floor. And then up towards the ceiling. And then coming back, gaze out in front. We'll exhale to release hands, bring head back up to center. And then we'll bring soles of the feet to the floor, bending at the knees. Palms of the hands will plant right underneath the shoulders, so a little bit behind the seat. Fingertips facing forward. On an inhale, we're going to lift hips up towards the ceiling, creating a nice flat surface between the knees and shoulders, reverse tabletop. And stay here for a few breaths. Keeping a little bit of tuck in the chin so that the back of the neck is still long. Feeling a really nice opening in the shoulder joints. Next exhale, drop hips back to the floor. Let go. One more round. We'll inhale to lift hips up towards the ceiling, grounding through the heels and the palms. Next exhale, hips drop to the floor. And releasing that, coming back to a seat. We'll roll forward to all fours. We'll just take some organic movement here, so maybe moving through some cat-cows, rolling up the shoulders, maybe taking some side-to-side motion, or some rolls through the whole spine. And then we'll sit back on the heels. Keeping palms planted on the floor in front of us, we will start to, we'll turn fingertips to face towards the body, and you might have to scoot palms a little closer to you in order to do this. We're trying to get a stretch through the wrists and the forearms here, so finding a position with the hands. You can do that, and if you have to come up off the heels on your seat if you have really tight forearms, you can do that as well. Keeping the chest open. And then we'll shift to have fingertips face to the outside of the mat. Taking a little back and forth here. And then shift fingertips to face in towards one another, thumbs pointing back towards the body. some opening in the wrists and the palms of the hands here. All right, release that, shake the wrists out, a little break, and interlace fingers together and just take some rolls through the wrists, release that pressure. All right, and then we'll walk hands back forward into tabletop, tuck toes, and send hips up and back into downward facing dog. And taking some movement here, settle into our down dog. Pedal the feet out, bend and straighten through the knees. Shake up the head. Give me as much time as you need before finding stillness. Next inhale, we'll shift forward, dropping the hips into plank pose. Nice long line from the crown of the head to the heels. And then exhale to send hips back up into downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 more rounds of that. Inhale into plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward into plank. And exhale to down dog. Next inhale, we'll drop knees out wide to the edges of the mat. Toes come to touch hips. Send back to heels for child's pose. Melting the forehead into the ground. Arms out long. Grounding through the many points of connection to the earth in this shape. Next inhale, we'll lift from tabletop. Exhale to down dog. One more time. From here, we'll inhale to send gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale to step feet up to meet hands, holding over legs. And just taking a moment to dangle here and this way side to side, forward and back, maybe playing around with shifting weight from the toes to the heels. And keeping a deep bend in the knees so that the belly can almost rest on the thighs. Next inhale, we'll lift halfway, fingertips to shins or thighs. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to circle hands up overhead, lifting up to stand. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Gently closing the eyes here. Feeling our strong, rooted foundation in Tadasana, mountain pose. Eyes gently blink back open. We'll inhale to circle arms up overhead. Exhale to sink hips back, bending deeply at the knees for chair pose. 3 breaths here. Touching the tailbone just a little bit to avoid hurting the lumbar spine too much. Building just a little bit of heat in the body. Last inhale. Exhale to fold over legs, releasing that. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to plant hands, step feet back into plank pose, either on toes or dropping knees. Inhale here. Exhale, bending at the elbows, lowering all the way to the ground. Inhale to lift chest, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more round of breath and down dog. Next inhale, gaze comes to the top of the mat. Exhale, feet step to hands, folding over legs. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms circle up overhead, coming up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Full round of breath here. Inhale to circle arms overhead. Exhale to sink hips back into chair pose. 3 breaths in chair pose. Sinking a little bit deeper on the exhales. Last inhale, lifting chest. Exhale to release into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to plank, hands step feet back into plank pose, whether that's on the toes or the knees. Inhale here. Exhale to lower all the way to the ground. Inhale, lift chest, little to no weight in the hands. Cobra. Exhale, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. 2 full breaths in down dog. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, feet can step to meet hands. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms circle up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Next inhale, we'll lift right knee, bending at a 90-degree angle, one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, we'll cross that right knee over left thigh, and then bend left knee, sinking hips back into figure 4. Hands can stay at heart center. And maybe start to bend forward, opening that opening in the right hip. One more breath here. Next inhale, straighten left knee, arms come up overhead, one-legged Tadasana, releasing that right foot. And then exhale to step right foot back, rounding back heel, and then bending into left knee to come into warrior 1. Hip space square towards the front of the mat. Chest is lifted. Gaze can lift. Fingertips reaching for the sky. Inhale. Exhale, airplane arms, sending chest forward, fingertips back. Inhale to lift. Warrior one. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, lift. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale to lift. Exhale to airplane. You'll hold here. Option to interlace hands behind the lower back. And then send left shoulder down towards left knee, crown of the head to the floor for humble warrior. Second option is to stay in the airplane arms shape. Whatever feels best in your body today. Couple of breaths in whatever shape you've chosen. Next inhale, we'll lift back up to warrior one. Exhale to plant hands on either side of the left foot and step back into plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale to lower all the way to the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 full breaths in down dog. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, feet step to meet hands, folding over legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms circle up overhead, coming to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Full breath into Tadasana. Next, inhale, left knee will lift, one-legged Tadasana. And then exhale to cross left ankle over right shin, or right thigh, and send hips back for figure 4. Keeping weight towards the heel of the right foot, taking any variation if you want to fold forward, or simply staying upright in your figure 4. One more breath in this shape. And then inhale, we'll release back to one-legged Tadasana. Exhale to step left foot back, warrior one. Finding that heel to heel stance or wider, whatever works best for your body. Strength in the foundation here, keeping the back of that left foot really grounded to the outer edge. Inhale to lift chest. Exhale, airplane arms, hinging at the hips. Inhale to lift, warrior one. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale to lift. Exhale, airplane. Last inhale, we'll lift. Exhale, airplane arms. Option again to take humble warrior, interlacing hands at lower back, bending shoulder and crown of the head, down towards the ground. Deep breaths. Strong foundation in whatever option you've chosen for this pose. Next, inhale will bring us back up through warrior one. And exhale to plant hands on either side of right foot, stepping back into plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale to lower all the way to the ground. This time we'll stay here. Crossing or bringing forearms out in front of us so that we can rest the forehead on our wrists or arms. Letting legs relax, heels can fall open to the sides of the mat. Just taking a few moments to reconnect with the breath. Next inhale, we'll lift gaze and forehead. And then slide elbows in closely to the body right underneath the shoulders. Fingertips out towards the front of the mat for Sphinx pose. And here, engaging the legs a little bit more. The toes are pointed back, engaging the core to prevent any crunching in the lower lumbar spine. Keeping the chest and shoulders nice and open and lifted. Our next inhale, we'll lift up hips, coming through a tabletop pose, and we're gonna drop elbows back to the ground and then take opposite hands to opposite elbows, like a raised out position. You're gonna send knees back a little bit here, so that when we sink back, the hips don't come all the way to the feet. And we're just going to send hips back a little bit and send forehead to the floor or forearms, coming into kind of a variation on puppy dog pose here. And we should feel this really deeply in the shoulder, armpit area. There's really deep opening for those muscles and fascia. Next inhale, we'll drop forward, coming up to hands and knees, tabletop. And then we'll come up to standing on the knees here, so walking hands back just a little bit. And making sure that knees are about hip width distance apart. Feet, toes pointed right back from the knees. We'll bring palms of the hands to the lower back. Fingertips can point up or down, whatever is comfortable for you. And moving into camel pose next. So inhale to lengthen and lift the chest, or to lift the gaze. And then exhale to press hips forward and start to send the crown of the head back, opening through chest and the shoulders. It's accessible for you to drop fingertips or hands to heels. You can do that. Otherwise, keeping them at the lower back is fine. Next inhale, we'll slowly come back up. Crown of the head is last. Exhale, bring hips, sit on heels. Letting the spine come back to its natural curvature. A couple of breaths here. And we'll take one more round of camel. We'll inhale to lift, hips coming to stand on the knees. Palms of the hands to lower back. And then exhale to send hips forward, crown of the head reaches back behind us. Inhale to come back up, center, releasing hands. And exhale to sit back into hero's pose. Letting the spine come back to neutral. And then we'll walk hands back forward towards the front of the mat, and we'll come back to our bellies once more. And from here, we will send right arm out long to a T. Gaze will come to the left, and then keeping left palm or fingertips planted, we will start to roll over onto that right shoulder. Left toes or sole of the foot can plant behind you to stabilize. And a really deep opening into that right shoulder. Option to bend the right elbow. That will deepen the stretch a little bit further. And then we'll inhale to come back to center. Exhale to send the left arm out long, right fingertips plant, and start to roll over onto the left shoulder. Again, option to bend the elbow. And we'll roll back to center onto the belly. And then exhale, we'll find your way into downward facing dog once again. Exhale, releasing the air out of the lungs. Next inhale, right toes will lift up towards the sky. Exhale, Sending up right out long behind you. And we'll inhale to walk hands back up towards the body, lifting the chest before exhaling to fold forward over that right leg. Next, inhale, walk hands back up in towards the body to lift chest. And then exhale to move back into downward facing dog, tucking the left toes, sending the right foot back. Next, inhale, left toe to lift. Exhale to bring that left shin towards the hands, setting up pigeon pose. Inhaling to lift chest, set up that back right leg long behind you, and then exhaling to fold over. Next inhale, we'll come back up, lifting chest. And then bringing hands back to the floor. We'll exhale to just roll onto that left hip, bringing legs out in front of us, and then making our way onto our backs. Planting soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent, feet about hip width distance apart, heels pretty close into the body. So inhale to lift hips, lift arms up overhead. Exhale to lower hands, lower hips back to the earth. Inhale to lift, circling arms up. Exhale to lower. Just inhale to lift. And we'll stay here in our bridge pose. Arms will come back alongside the body. Support the lift of the hips. Option to interlace fingers behind you. Broaden through the chest. But keeping some space in between the chest and chin. So that we're not crunching and constricting the throat or the back of the neck in this shape. And one more inhale. Exhale to release any grip on the hands and then roll the spine back down to the earth, one vertebrae at a time. And then we'll bring soles of the feet out wide on the mat. Let knees fall in towards one another. And opening arms out a little bit wider. Getting ready to find our final resting position for the end of class. You're welcome to stay in this constructive rest pose if that feels good in your body. Otherwise, you can move into traditional shavasana, sending legs out long and wide on the mat, closing the eyes. Letting the body just melt into the ground. Softening the jaw, softening the muscles around the eyes, softening the forehead, shoulders, the hips. Letting anything you might still be holding on to release. You are welcome to stay here as long as you would like. Whenever you're ready to move on with your evening or your day, starting to deepen the breath, bringing small movements into the fingers and toes and the wrists, ankles, knees, and elbows, rocking the head side to side, before rolling over to either side, coming into a fetal position. And then gently pressing yourself back up to a seat, keeping eyes closed. Hands come to rest on the body, knees are in the lap. And then once again, noticing physical sensations in the body, internal and external. Noticing the sounds you can hear in or outside the room. Noticing what you smell, noticing what you taste. Bringing hands to heart center. We'll exhale all the air out of the lungs. And then inhale through the nose, filling belly, ribs, and chest, lifting collarbone, holding it at the top, and then sighing it out the mouth. Gently tucking the chin, blinking eyes open. Thanking yourself for coming to your mat today, and thanking everyone else who may have come and joined you in this practice tonight. All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope to see you again next week.